Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Prelude to Positivity with Tommy Geraci. Today, my guest is very exciting for me, actually, because I've been wanting him to be on for a while. He's very talented. I enjoy his music. Every time he has a new song coming out, it's kind of like Christmas, really, every time a new song comes out. So, Parker Matthews is with me today, and I'm really happy to have you here.
Hey guys, thank you so much. Happy to be here.
And happy birthday. Yesterday was your birthday, as of this.
Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Pisces season is upon us.
That's right. So, to begin with, for people that aren't familiar with you, just tell us a little bit about you. Like when you were a kid, were you singing and dancing and doing all that, or did this come later?
No, so the story my mother always tells is I was at a concert when she was pregnant with me. Well, I was in her stomach and I was bumping, kicking to the beat, having a grand old time. But my earliest memory was when I was 5 years old. I was watching the Grammys and watching Whitney Houston sing, and I was like, "Mom, I want to do that." And she was like, "Oh, that's cute, sweetie. Of course, whatever." And then as I got older, I was like, "No, seriously, like I really want to do it." And I was in vocal lessons growing up, and I used to be a dancer and played violin, piano, but music was always the true savior in my life, and I always stuck with that. I followed my parents' wishes and went to school for business, and graduated, but just was so unhappy with my job back in Pittsburgh, where I'm from. And it was actually a trip to Europe in 2015. I was visiting some friends in Amsterdam, and I was sitting on the edge of the canals after one very long night of drinking. And I was like, I really don't want to go home, and I don't want to think, what if I would have tried in music? What would have happened? And one day, that question of what if,
Mhm.
because that would have just killed me. So I booked a one-way ticket to LA and never looked back. And here we
Wow.
are.
Wow. Okay. I heard Whitney Houston in there, and I know Whitney
Yes.
Houston is definitely a influence on you because I can hear it when I hear you sing.
Oh,
Who else
thank you.
influenced you as far as singing?
So Christina Aguilera was probably my biggest influence. She actually went to my same school back in Wexford, Pennsylvania. And it's actually funny, side note, Dance Myers from Dan and Shay also went to my high school. And now then there's me. So I was like, it's my turn now. But so growing up listening to her, I mean, Stripped, that album was, I mean, there's not a filler song on that album. Every single song is just hits home. At
Yeah.
least for me, it did. So growing up listening to her and singing along with her and um, learning to do runs and riffs because of her. She was my biggest influence for sure. But of course, Adele, Jennifer Hudson, all the female powerhouses are what I listened to growing up. And those are the ones that truly moved me. And I try to emulate that in my version when I sing and make a record.
Yeah, you can definitely hear it because you have the power voice. You
Thank
do have
you.
the power voice, and you also have the upkeep. Like you know how to upkeep it. Like they used to have to upkeep it. Whitney used to always talk about how it's a
Yes.
it's an instrument, and you have to upkeep it like an instrument.
Yeah, I mean, I always have like my water it's
Yeah, yeah.
constantly by me and long hot steam showers, but I do not complain about that.
And then you mentioned "What If," the whole thing about "What If," and your new single that's coming
Yes,
out is called "What If We." So,
yes.
can you
Comes
tell
out
us a
this
little bit of,
Friday.
yeah, what is that about? What if we?
Yeah, so so many of the songs that I've written in the past and stuff that I have in my demo pack have been about a sad or a negative ending with the dating story because that's the cards that I've been given with dating. It's not great. But What If We was written about a time when I was in New York and love that city by the way. And I was at, if you guys know Industry Bar, great place.
Mhm.
And I met someone and I was surprisingly like, wait a minute, this is working out too easily. Something's not right here. But anyway, it's of my past. But no, but it's a question of what if this becomes something more? But also on the flip side, devil's advocate, what if it's nothing at all?
Mhm.
And really, the song is coming from two different angles. One's the internal conversation with myself of like, what if I fall for you? Like, what if this is the one? But also, like I just said, what if it's nothing at all? What if we're risking it all of my emotions, all of my, my heart on my sleeve, and it ends up just being nothing?
Mhm.
But it's the timeless question of what if? You don't know unless you try. And a lot of people, I feel like, with dating become jaded when it doesn't work out time and time again. And sometimes I find myself maybe going a little towards those tendencies, but I'm like, nope, go back and try again. The day is not over. And what if it does work out? You'll never know until you try.
Yeah. I listened to it today and I understood that part, but I also thought you could apply it to everything because what if in any situation, right?
Oh, of
So
course, yeah.
we have to, and I think people should learn to take more risks, I guess, right? We all need that.
Hmm.
Otherwise, we'll
Yeah.
never know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean and I think that's one thing that I've always my whole life have just been like, just jump, just do it. Just go ahead. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I remember in even when I was like learning how to tumble in gymnastics growing up, I would always say, you know what? You just have to throw it because if you it's based on inertia. And if you don't get that tumble pass going, it's not gonna work because it has to like that's how the basic laws of physics work with physical motion.
Yeah. And you were talking about songwriting. So when you write songs, you
Hmm.
always do it from your experience. Have you ever incorporated someone else's experience into your
Yeah, when
songwriting?
I write for other people or with other people, I
Oh,
listen to their story. And it's funny because people try to give me the nutshell version. I'm like, no, 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 I don't care if it takes an hour. I need to know exactly what happened, like at 10:36 p.m. If you can remember that much detail, tell me everything about that moment because the thing for me when I write songs, I think it's really important to say what you're trying to say without actually saying it, or it's really set the scene with those micro details that actually make so much of a difference. I mean, if you look at major songs like Closer of the Chainsmokers, in the backseat of your Rover, the mattress that we couldn't afford, like those small details that are so intricate to that and so precise with that story really hit home for so many people because the point of music is that even though it's a story about me or your story that I'm writing about, it makes you, when you listen to it, relate to a story in your own life. And that's the really cool thing about music. And that's where the connection comes in.
yeah, definitely. Do you think that when you write for someone else, you can get into their head because you've had so much experience yourself and you're pretty empathic, I would think, when it comes to that.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the most fun part for me. It's like, let me play therapist for a minute
Mhm.
and let me talk to you about it. And I love seeing the look on someone's face when I can write a line or a lyric and it lights up. They're like, oh, that's so cool. I never thought about saying it that way or looking at it from that angle. Like, oh, yes, this is why I do what I do.
Also, when you write music from your own experiences and then you're so open about things, like on your Instagram, you sometimes you go into your stories about dating and things. And as open as you are, do you think anybody out there ever kind of like misinterprets things of you or has like the wrong impression of you when it comes to things like that?
I'm sure. Like, you from hearing what I say or just in general, like
And
from
from
reading?
all of it, like when you're being so honest
Yeah.
and open about it, but do people actually sometimes think like maybe you're in more of a dark place than you actually are because you're speaking on those topics?
Yeah, I mean that could happen. I think sometimes people have reached out and be like, are you okay? I'm like, yes, today I am, yes. At that time I was not. For me, when I go into a dark place or a bad time, I kind of like become quiet. And when you don't hear from me, that's when you need to start worrying.
Mm.
I'll say that. That's when I'm really sad.
And this song coming out too is a collaboration.
Yes.
So it's
So it's with
different a little bit.
yeah. It's with an EDM pop duo, Code Pink, and they're
Mhm.
great guys. One of the co-writers of this record, I was really good friends with them, and that's how we kind of made this whole thing work. And actually, because I'm performing this at the EDMAs in Miami at the end of this month,
Mm.
so they're going to come with me, and it's going to be a really fun time. But collaborating is so important to me because everybody brings something to the table, and when you can have that blend of new talent or new, it's kind of like picture like a color palette. You're mixing red with blue, and all of a sudden you get purple, right? And it's
Mm.
this new color, this new shade to shine on your career path and music.
Yeah. And so today is the day before it comes out. So what are you feeling usually when a new song comes out, like leading up to it? Because I know a lot of times you'll press like I just hit send on the song and it's out there
Yeah,
now and it's over.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, it's funny because when before. the song comes out, you hear it like 500,000 times, and like the different versions and the mixing idiosyncrasies of like, oh, can you change this, add that, add that? And I'm like, I think it's good enough. I don't know, just do it like at this point. But no, it's exciting for sure. And there is a moment every single time a new song comes out that I go on Spotify and listen to it, or Apple Music or whatever. And it's like, yep, that happened. It's out. It's done.
So, so far, you're not really old enough, maybe, for this, but so far in your career, what are you most proud of?
Most proud of, I think, let me try to narrow this down here. I think there was a big jump when I wrote Layover with Maya Marie, who was worked with Britney Spears a lot.
Mm.
And we're going into that session. I'll never forget that day. I was still kind of a newbie, and I was like, okay, like, let's see. And she kind of was picking my brain about the story that guy, or the guy that the story is over. um, but it was that moment that kind of redefined, or kind of allowed me to like give me my ticket, where it's like, no, like you need to be here. You're okay to be here. And so that was kind of a big jump and leap in my career. So that song is what I'm most proud of, because that turned the most heads and kind of was like, hey, like it kind of give me a stepping way into the music industry
Mm.
for sure. And then aside from that, I mean, the EDM Aces year, I'm super, super, super happy that I was invited to go to perform with the Artist Showcase, and that's very touching. And I'm going to be with so many great EDM producers and songwriters and artists, and it's going to be a really, really fun time.
Have you ever written anything for someone and then not wanted to give it away?
Um, I've I secretly kind of no, I've given every song to people, but I will say there is one song I just wrote called "Running Back to You" that is in my demo pack that I
Mm.
have. It's being offered, but that one I will say no. Like that one, I'll keep that one for myself, because I love it so much. It's kind of like Cruel Summer vibes ish,
Okay.
like a mid tempo pop, chill pop song. But it's really, that song was about it was about the one and only boyfriend I ever had, and it was so, although he was so toxic, it was like I just kept running back to him every single time, because I just felt that was my first love.
Mm.
And it was like, no matter what you do, I will always go back to you, even though it's to my detriment.
Mm. We all have that. We all have that
Yes.
person,
Yeah.
situation, experience that we go back to and we know we shouldn't be doing it, but we're kind of like hooked on it. It's
And
familiar.
here we go again.
Sometimes the familiar is less scary than the unfamiliar, and you're like, even though it's
Yes.
horrible, it's still familiar.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Exactly. It's like it's better than getting to know someone all over again. That's a whole nother nightmare.
Yeah, no, I mean, and then it just takes for you to get to the point where you're done with it. You have to get to that point
Yeah.
where, like, I've hit the limit. That's the end of the story. We're
Yeah. When
done.
I walk away, then we're
Yes.
done. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
What are you most passionate about? Is it the music? Is it the writing? Is it the whole thing?
God,
Everything?
that's a great question. So, I mean, really, it's everything. I think there's different. I'll tell it to you this way. I think that the whole thing is a healing process for me.
Mhm.
I think that writing it, and really, because when I get hurt, and this might not even be the healthiest thing, but I will put that whole moment in time and feelings into a box and lock it up and throw away the key. So when I write these records, so the way it works is I'll usually like, it sounds psychotic, but I'll be like half asleep, and a melody will pop into my head, and I'll record it into my phone, like whatever it is. And then when I go to a writing session, I will pull up these super scratch vocal voice memos, and I'll go through them. I'm like, all right, this song reminds me of this person or this experience. And then I will go and unpack and find the key and unlock that trauma, if you will. And
Okay.
I'll go through the story in my head. And all right, so this is perfect. This is perfect. I'll write the whole song. So that part of the process is very healing for me, because then I kind of write the whole story down. And then when I go to record the song, that's kind of like my resolution of like me putting my voice to the story and telling it in my most authentic way, if you will. Um, So that's, and then of course having come out and singing it live is another touching moment on the other side of the spectrum. Whereas like me looking back at that past experience, like, look, this is what happened. I'm singing it to you now in person.
Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. And when you perform something live, how is it different than the reaction you get from people when you put something out and then they're responding to you online? So you get reactions, right?
Hmm.
Because we get more reactions now than we ever did before,
Yes, exactly.
right? But is there still that thing about being live and feeling it in
Oh
person?
yeah, I think 1000%. And in my opinion, every record, it's a great record when you can sing it stripped down acoustically versus having the full production too
Mhm.
behind it for live. And I mean, any song, especially if it's the bridge that's the sad part or whatever, if it's a live moment, especially if it's an acoustic stripped down set and you're just sitting with a guitarist or whatever, and it's just a very intimate experience. That part's like, even I get choked up singing that. I'm like, oh, I can do this. Like, I have to take an Ativan before. And I'm like, okay, I got this. But yeah, no, that definitely is still there. And I think that that emotional connection is what keeps music going and keeps us all connected at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, we didn't have situations where people could see people performing their music on YouTube
Hmm.
or dancing to it on TikTok or things like that. You have to wait till you performed it live and have them sing it back to you, and then you knew that the song was resonating with people.
Yeah. I think there's a good and bad to both. I mean, it's great
Mhm.
that you can see it online. You can lay in bed if you're having a sad day and watch your favorite artist
Sure.
sing the song, whatever. But there still is a very big moment about being there in person live and doing it and talking with the audience there. And I don't know, I think it feels more personal.
Mhm. For sure. What is one thing that you absolutely cannot live without?
Aside from music,
Mhm.
probably tequila.
Okay.
No, no,
A little
no, no.
numbing.
Yes, yeah, like little dip in the pond every now and then. No, but I would say, really my friends and I consider them my family. I do have some great family members that are blood related, but I think that growing up in coming out and the situations that we deal with that, you really, and anybody in life, your friends are the family that you make.
Mhm.
And I think that that's the strongest connections you have. So I really can't live without them. um, I think that like they are my rocks and my core support group with everything. And I love them because they're brutally honest too. But I expect that. And like I'm from the East Coast, so that's how we roll.
Oh, for sure. Oh my God, that's so true.
Yeah,
It's so true.
yeah,
Because we'll just tell
yeah.
you like that's how it is. But I think that people who are from the East Coast that end up in LA, that's a
Hmm.
benefit that they have.
Yes. When I first moved to everyone's like, "You're so mean." I'm like, I mean, I'm just asking like, "What's up?" or "Why is this not done?" or "I don't like it actually." Like, you
Yeah,
ask me my opinion, I'm just telling you.
being honest and not sugarcoating
Yeah.
anything and not dancing around things. And, you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
we waste too much time dancing around stuff. We don't have time for
Yeah.
that in the East
Like
Coast.
chop, chop, let's go. Yeah.
What is
I
something that,
softened up a little bit though. What were you gonna
yeah,
say,
really, I
Sarah?
mean, you have to soften up, I think, anyway, but the edge, I think the edge is the thing that, because it's like a street smart kind of edge.
Yeah. And especially when I go back and visit, like, especially New York, I'm like, oh yes. I'm like,
Yeah.
people. Like,
I mean, I'm really glad though that people in LA can walk fast like we do here
oh
because
yeah.
otherwise I'd
Other
be
than
really
that.
angry. I don't like going
Yeah,
to the
but
city.
not driving though. Here I'm like, okay, like the gas pedal's on the right. Push that a little harder, please.
Well, New York is like that too. New Yorkers don't know how to drive. But the walking
Yeah.
thing, when I go to a city that doesn't walk or people that don't walk fast, I'm just like, oh my God, what is
Like
wrong with
chop,
you?
let's go, people. Come on. Yeah.
It's angry walking.
Yes, it is. I totally get it.
What is something that you wish that we could all live without?
Ooh, something we can all live without. The idea of ghosting someone.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's like I don't because the thing is, look, like I've been in this situation where like I would it be the ghostee, I guess.
Mhm.
But and it isn't easy to find the way to tell someone in a nice way without letting them down or but if they're not getting the hint. But I still think it's better than just saying nothing at all.
Mhm.
And it's because it really sucks. And everyone will react differently, and that's just kind of the risk you have to take. But I think being the bigger person in that sense, being like, hey, whatever you want to say with the situation, like this isn't working out. I think we're better as friends or whatever, versus just saying nothing.
the unsaid thing or the unread, leaving somebody on red and not answering them. That, but people in the East Coast do that too, which is weird because we're very upfront, but yet we still do ghosting. So why? I don't understand that one. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many stories. It's just like that I've been through I've been the ghosted one. Just like, okay, like great, thank you so much. After like 2 months of seeing each other like very frequently to go to literally nothing and without any explanation. I mean, I've had situations where I thought like, did they get in a car crash?
Oh my god.
Like did something happen?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it was like we were speaking that often. I mean, there was one guy in 2018. His name was Nick. Never trust the Nick, by the way. I've gathered enough information on that to say that with confidence. But we he was here for like a month and a half, and he was here on rotations for clinicals. So like I knew he was leaving, going to San Francisco after. Like I knew that, and we went out. I didn't want to go out with him. This is the part that kills me. Initially, we went to Pink Taco back when it used to be open, and I was like, God, I don't even want to go on this date, but like, fine, just do it. Ended up really hitting it off, and you know, over the next week or so, saw each other a couple more times, and then we saw each other towards the end of the month and a half, almost every single day, and everything was going so great. Like we were planning a trip together. I was like, I'll come visit you. Like, sure thing. Blah blah blah. Like 3 days before he leaves, immediately no response. I'm like, that's weird. And all like didn't hear from him for 2 days. Well, I never heard from him again. But I was by 2 days, I was like, did something happen? Like, oh my, like, did I message his friend? Like, is he okay? And his friend's like, yeah, he's fine. Just like, okay. So I think I know what's happening here. But those kind of situations, like, how do you just go from everything to nothing? Like, I know you're leaving. That wasn't a surprise. But why can't you just be an adult and be like, hey, it was a fun month and a half, but like, I want to see what's going on in San Francisco or whatever. And I'd have been like, sucks, but I get it. Okay, sure.
Yeah, that's really cowardly. Very
Yeah.
cowardly.
And of course, they still watch your stories or follow you to this day on Instagram. Just like,
Oh my
hope you're
god.
doing well, buddy.
But
Like,
you've gotten to the point where
yeah.
you can laugh about them now, right? Because I know
Yes,
you shared
yeah.
them on Instagram. What's the weirdest one though? Like, was that the weirdest one? Or was
Oh God, no. There's been so many. I mean, the dating situation. I mean, it's just like I don't even know. I must have something like on my forehead, like, please, everyone that's like fucked up, talk to me because it's just like it's like. I mean, this trip. I think the best one ever was just a date. We go to Soho House, and I took him there, and I will never ever take a first date to Soho House again because I can't like you're under my name if you're there,
Oh
so I
yeah.
can't leave you. I can't leave you there without you have to go with me
Mhm.
because if I did and you did something that like caused a problem, that would come back on me,
Mhm.
which I understand. So anyway, I took him there on a first date, and I drink tequila, like I said earlier. I think, but every to my one drink, he had three, and I was like, okay. By within the hour, he was like sloshed, and we moved from the inside to the outside, and he was like, he's like, you see that girl over there with the thigh high boots? And I was like, yeah. And without getting too graphic, he's like, we should go like hook up with her. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, like, the three of us should like hook
Oh,
up. And I was like, well, I don't know what I would do. It's to be standing in the corner with pom poms and cheer you two on. Like, what am I like that? What? I was like, this is so weird. And the night just got progressively worse and worse. And I was like, all right, well, I have an early morning tomorrow. We need to leave now. And he's like, why don't you come back to my place for a drink? And I was like, yeah, no, like I'm good on that. Sorry. And I remember I was so irritated. He like his car comes around the valet and he was like, yeah, like hopefully I can see you again. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath on that. Thanks, buddy. Like, ugh, like that was major ick.
yeah.
That
Well,
was
that's
probably
all.
the weirdest.
That is because that's all the conversation you should have with somebody that you're involved with at least more than one date. That you have to talk about that first before you actually
Yes, I
do
was like,
it.
what? Like,
Any kind of
it's like
threesome.
I know. I was like, God, why can't I just have like a normal experience?
Oh
Like,
my.
it's like, well, then you have the ones where they just trauma dump on you the whole time, or like just.
Mhm.
I'm just like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
so
It's not therapy,
it's.
it's a date.
I know, yeah. And I'm like, it's just like Jesus. Like, it's been. it's been very interesting, especially out here in LA. It's like, and I mean, everyone is so ambivalent and don't know what they want and blah blah blah. I'm just like, okay, well, if you don't know what you want, I don't have time for this then. Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, the truth is, I have very limited free time, and like even for myself to like just like yesterday, my birthday, I just laid in bed. Like I'm so tired. I just want to do nothing. Because I'm gonna celebrate when I go to Miami at the end of the month, so
Right,
it's
right.
fine. But you know, I'd rather see my friends than deal with a situation like that. And you don't know until you try, of course. But I was like, I'm good on trying for like 6 months at least.
Yeah. Do you think that social media has played a part though in this whole thing where like people don't they have too many options and they don't want to like
Yes,
the one?
1000%. I think it's there's you know I've met a lot of people that I've well you know okay, so the one thing I will say in a positive, I used to live much closer to LAX than I
Mm.
do. I live in West Hollywood now. So the amount of flight attendants and pilots, I have like a Rolodex of people that
Oh yeah, that's
from around the world.
yeah.
Yeah, that are friends and like that were like lovers, also different people that I'm like, of course that you seem like a great person and you're leaving tomorrow. I mean, that's what the flavor is about a flight attendant. I mean, that's how it always works. I mean, every single person, I'm like, damn, I actually feel a connection with you. And they're like, me too. And I'm like, oh, are you going back to Brazil or Germany? I'm like, perfect, great. But so you know, I would never have met them without social media or Tinder or Hinge or whatever. So in that aspect, I think it's great. But I do think at the end of the day, to your point, there's too many options. And I mean, I have either been out and seen other people on a date and seen this happen, or even been sitting there myself. And I'm like, I feel like they're on Tinder swiping right there in the moment just because they're like, oh, well, you seem great, but like there's also all these other people out
Yeah.
here that are potentials. And I think you know the perfect person does not exist. They only exist in your head. So you know there's you might have 100 boxes to check. No one's going to check all 100 of them honestly. And if you I think that that is part of the problem because I think okay well like maybe tell me you're missing X Y and Z, like maybe I can find this person with Bob and see if they have everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like well but then you're always going to be searching. And it's kind of like the game of musical chairs, like when music stops playing sucks to be the last one standing, but at
Yeah.
this point, I think we'll all be standing. So
I
maybe it
think
won't be that
so.
bad after all.
Well, because I also think people are chasing things that aren't reality either. You see somebody on
Yeah.
Instagram and it's not true, but you're holding a place for that person. So I'm with
Uh-huh.
you, but yet I'm always looking at that guy's Instagram and I'm fantasizing about him and kind of like with you, but if he calls or if he answers my DM, I might
Yeah.
jump to him.
Or
Like
likes
that
the
is the
story.
worst.
I know. And let me tell you too, it's so funny. There are so many people that my favorite is when all these like super hot um Instagram boys, there's no videos, it's just all pictures.
Right.
When you meet them, when you see them in real life, they suck. They have no personality. They're like, meh. It's like, okay, well, maybe you look good at that angle, sweetheart, but like there's no personality, there's
Yeah.
no depth.
That
I'm
is a
like,
lot.
best of luck. I can't imagine sitting through dinner with that. Like, oh,
Or you meet the person online, their life is so perfect, or so at least it seems like it's so together. And then you meet them and they're
yeah.
just like a mess. You're like, what the hell is this all about?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, damn.
Like
I mean,
you are not
like have
representing at all.
I know. We used to see how these people, I'm sorry, because you do a lot of stuff in West Hollywood. Half the people there, it's like, oh God, like I can't even.
Yeah.
Every time I go out, I'm like, why did I do this again to myself?
I think I actually stopped. I'd rather go to dinner than to actually go out. You know, like I'm prefer to have
Yeah,
dinner with people, have a good conversation, couple of drinks, and then see where it goes and
yeah.
where we're gonna end
If
up.
we go
But
out
I
more, it's
don't
fine.
want to
But
just go
yeah,
to the bar because that's just gonna be a waste of
oh,
time.
it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Also, to the thing, I mean, I don't know. I've always tried to be like as real a person as I could be, and I feel like so many people out here in that like clicky gay world don't accept that, and they're just like, "Hmm." I'm like, okay, if that's how you want to play, sure. I'm like, aren't you from like Idaho? And it's like, if you want to go there,
But yet LA is such a great place too. Like there's such an energy there
oh
that's
yeah,
so good, but then you have that part of it that's the detriment part.
yeah, yes, yes. And I'm like, you don't have to be a mean girl. Like it's okay. You can be nice. Like I know that it's like a, you know, and that's the thing too. I think I've always said this is I was a heavily abused child and very made fun of my whole life growing up. And so there is no excuse. Like you don't have to be a mean person because of that. And you know, a lot of people I feel like go through similar situations that I did. And now that they come out here or at any gay bar
Yeah.
or any
New
community,
York is the same.
sometimes they feel like they can be the mean kid in the sandbox now because they're the mighty big tough ones. And I'm like, guys, come on, we don't have to do that. Like that's just so like, ugh, don't repeat the past. I cannot stand that.
It's a cycle. You're just perpetuating a cycle that doesn't need to
Yeah,
be. Right. But
yeah,
all
and
of
it's
that
and
makes really good music, right? So it makes
yeah. Well,
so
I
all
know.
these
I'm like,
good songs
yeah,
and
yeah,
good
yeah,
television
yeah,
shows and good movies and good. So this is why the creativity is there too.
yeah. And I wish people would dive more into that though. And it's like so we could actually, write more about them. And
Yeah.
you and I can't carry this whole thing on our shoulders. It has to be more
Well,
than
no,
us.
I mean it's exhausting, really.
Yeah, I know, I know.
We
So
could just keep going with it. What is
yes,
so?
yes.
What is like the you do have friends or you stay friends with some of the people that you dated. So there must be like good stories,
Yes.
like good breakups.
Yeah,
What's been a
yeah.
good breakup?
Wait, oh, sorry, we broke up. What'd you say?
What's been a good breakup? Like a amicable.
Um, I think, well, I mean, honestly, even the person that Layover's about, his name's Giannis, and he's Greek, and it's he came here the first time, and he ended up having a 4.5 to 5 day layover. It's supposed to be the first night I met him. It's supposed to be like a one night thing. Ended up being the whole time with him, and we talked, and he came back to see me, and it was great. And then the third time he came back, it was immediately different. The vibe, like no kiss, just a hug. And I picked him up from the hotel, and the whole day, I'm just like, okay, something's not right here. And we went out that night, and I like really needed to have some liquid courage. And I was like, all right, what is going on? Because obviously something's different. Like you didn't kiss me at all today. Like you're being standoffish. And he's like, he met someone else in because he's Greek but lived in Germany
Okay.
because he worked for Lufthansa. And it's like in that moment, obviously, like you're extremely crushed. And this is why like my life is so comical. I went to the bathroom at Stash and I was like, just give me a second. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I got this. It's gonna be all right. And this girl was crying in the bathroom too. And I was like, what's wrong? And she was like, this guy just broke up with me. And I was like, oh my God, same. So I was like, yeah. But I went back out. I mean, we never were like officially together, but it was, there was definitely like we were seeing each other kind of thing. And anyway, so it's very crushing in that moment. But I thought about it that night. I tried to, well, of course, that night, I said, do you want to come out to my room? And I was like, no, I don't. Like, I'm dropping you off. Like, if you met someone, like, I respect that. Go
We're good.
do your thing. So, I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I can't be upset. He lives 6,000 miles away. He met someone at home. Good for him. So
Pick your
it
friends.
was, yeah. So I would say that it sad, but like good in the sense that I was like, I totally understand. And it was, I still talk to him every now and then,
Mhm.
and yeah, that was probably the best one. The rest have just been like interim lovers, flight attendant wise, and I'm like, or pilot wise, and I'm like, oh, okay, like we're friends now. Yeah.
So you can be friends with exes.
Yes, yeah. Some of them, I'm like, if a bus hits you, that would be terrible.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'll send a flower, one flower.
yeah, yeah. A black rose.
I'm just that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, just the petals.
Have you ever had somebody get mad at you for writing a song about them?
I don't know. I haven't actually. Mm-mm. No, no. The rest of them, I know I wrote no, no one's ever been mad. I think just touched her. I like Giannis. He knew the song. I didn't tell him it was about him, but like it was the details are very intricate.
Mm.
And did an interview with LA Weekly when it came out, and I didn't know they were going to publish, but they published like everything that I said,
Oh
which
my
was
God.
fine. But I was like, oh, and so he still watched like my story and Instagram and stuff, and he read the article, and then of course, like he knew the song was about him, so he was in San Francisco on a layover, and this is probably like a year after the song came out, but he posted like the caption was like a lyric from the song. I'm just like, okay, I see what you did. Like you're proud that someone wrote a song about you, and so it's been published. Like you're welcome.
Well, well, at least he owned it. He
You
owned
know, yeah, it was
it.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't mad about it. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
So where can people find you online to follow you and hear all the stories?
Yes, so I'm Official Parker Matthews on Instagram, TikTok. If you just type Parker Matthews in Google, I'll pop up. I'm on every platform, every streaming platform as well. So I'm around.
So looking back, you when you were a kid, did is this what you would have imagined, or is it more than what you imagined, or
I think I'm on the way to what I imagined.
okay,
The industry's changed so much
yeah,
um, in a bad way.
yeah,
So it's been a little more difficult. I
mm,
think I was born like 10 years too late
mm,
to have the easy, like, we'll develop you, no problem.
mm,
Now you have to come fully developed with the fan base. And I have one that's growing and connecting with them is super important to me and figuring it out. I think one thing that I've learned is like I used to, when I first started, have to think that it had to be so calculated all the time, but it doesn't. I think just being your authentic self is the most important thing.
mm.
And that's where the real connections, or at least the connections that you want to have with fans and um, even people in the industry, that's where that really comes from. And that's what you want to have happen.
Yeah. It's sad though because I was watching Ringo Starr the other night had something on that was special from Nashville. So there's a whole bunch of
Hmm.
people that have been in the industry for a really long time, and I was looking at them and thinking they're really not they're senior citizens at this point now. But then at some point, a couple of generations after, that's when it kind of stopped, where people don't really get that superstardom thing so easily anymore. I think like Beyonce
Yeah,
in that era might have been the last time where
that's
that
the
actually
last.
happened. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how are new people going to ever become that?
I mean, I mean, there's been so many studies and articles that I've read, and that is like the pop star is dying.
Yeah.
And I think that, well, that's, well, because the thing is, like, people back then, it was like all radio placement. And it's like, no, like, this is what's out there. This is what you're listening to. This is the top 40. And you kind of were tricked into liking it. I mean, yes, the songs are good, of course. Like,
Right.
they're not good. But now that you can record, I mean, it was a very gate kept industry. Now that I can have a home studio that's a mess right now, but I could, you can technically record right here and have a final track. It's a lot easier, so the saturation is a lot more of the market. So it's there's and again, just like people with dating, it's always like, oh, wait, another song. Who's this? Oh my God, I like that. That was funny. Like there's so many different like avenues and ways to find other new artists. So it's like how to really pierce through the noise. That's where like the back end business side of stuff comes, and it's like the networking and connections and collaborations to peek into someone else's fan base and oh, who's that? And then that
Yeah.
cross marketing.
I mean, I found you on Spotify and because they had suggested you as rotational music for I guess because what I was listening to and you fit that.
Uh-huh.
So I first
Yeah.
found you there and but I do take a chance and listen to what they're like what they suggest. I listen to all of it and I go through it like
Yeah.
in the car or something like that and I hear what I like and then I go back to the person and okay, let me find out more about that person.
And who is that person? Yeah.
Yeah. And what do they do?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So I
what else
think
do
that
they do?
for me, it's yeah. For me, what kind of trauma have they been through? But no, for me, I mean, I really, for anybody, it's just it's getting out there as much as possible and having a hand in every pot that you can to be like involved in all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was reading recently that Rihanna has a new
Hmm.
album coming out, but what she said was that this album is absolutely not radio play. She's like, I didn't choose
It's
the songs to be radio play. I chose them because this is what I want, and this is what the sound
yeah.
I want. Do you think that more artists doing that would help the collective?
I think so. I mean, radio is still pay to play. I mean, it's
Mhm.
because the trick is this is like the I shouldn't maybe be saying this, but like what they'll do, like labels will do is you can't have like payola's not legal
Right,
as
right.
far as like, hey, like I'll pay you X amount to play these records, but they sell advertising space. So when
Yeah.
the every hour, but the ad just happens to be the song. So
Okay.
that's the loophole.
Okay.
So it's like so that's how they still get have radio control because they spend millions of dollars on radio play. But yeah, I think if artists did more to what they want,
Mm.
then that could help. I mean, I don't even know if people, I think the people already do that. I think it's just, I mean, the industry's in trouble because they chase these viral TikTok moments. But the problem was a lot of these artists don't have anything else after that. And they're like, oh, well, that was it.
Yeah. Well, it's like
And
the people
then,
with the acting where they're saying that they want to pick people who have for roles that have collective followings across all platforms very high. But that doesn't mean the person's
But
talented. That just means they have a lot of
right,
followers.
yeah,
As an
yeah,
actor, like you could be
exactly.
talented at doing one thing, but not necessarily traditional acting.
I'm like OnlyFans and acting are two very different things. I know
Sure.
people might not see that, but yeah, it's like,
Sure.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's insane. But I think that well now, I mean, Sony Music's laying off thousands of people, and a lot of the labels are going to go to distribution services. So like it would be because they realize how big the independent market is. They will offer, or they're going to start offering, like pay us like just services like a la carte services to pay
Okay.
for. Which I can't wait to see what that looks like. It's going to be another nightmare, but it's uh, yeah. I mean, that's what I've heard they're going towards.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting for sure.
Well, it shows that they're sort of listening, but yet in their
Well,
own
they're
way.
they're scraping for something to stay afloat because they've
Yeah.
wasted so much money on TikTok people that have nothing else to offer.
Well, we live and learn.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the lesson is affecting a lot of people. That's the only problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, because I have a lot of friends in the industry, and when you go see them perform too, it's like hard for them to get people to come to a show. It's hard for them to get the music out. They need money to do this and that. It's not, and they're doing everything by themselves, like you do, like doing all that
Yeah.
and trying to keep all these balls in the air.
Yeah. It's
And
like
that's
I
why you
was
have to
never
see
that great at
things
juggling.
virtually.
It's like, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So, what would you like to leave everyone with, besides that they should listen to the new song?
So, well, I think, let music, if you're ever having a bad time, music saved my life. And as cliche as some might think that that sounds, it really is the truth. And I think, I look forward to one day singing for you. And it's never about buying a ticket to just come watch me sing. It's about creating an atmosphere, an aura, in a world.
Mm.
Um, to leave your problems at the door and to just feel better when you're there, because I want you to leave feeling better than you did when you walked in. And that's the most important part with any show that you go to or any artist that you follow or listen to. I think the biggest thing is if you can even a song take you away from whatever you're going through just for 3.5 minutes, then I think that we as artists are doing our job. That's what we're here to do, and that's what we love.
Yeah, and people can find you official or
Official Parker Matthews. Yep.
and also the new song "What If We" is going to be out,
Hmm.
and I think we're going to
Yep.
play it too.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have a
Okay.
snippet here, and
Okay.
it'll be out tomorrow at 9 p.m. Well, midnight Eastern time.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Everybody should look for it.
Yeah.
I usually stay up for
Yes.
yours. I stay awake for yours on the East Coast. Well, on
Oh,
the East
thank
Coast is different,
you.
but on the East Coast I stay awake.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Tommy.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you for coming on, and come back anytime you want.
Of course.
It's great
Yeah.
talking to you. I like talking to you.
Likewise. I know we can
Cool.
talk all day.
Sure. I mean, we keep going on and on and on, but we'll save that for another song and another day.
Yes. Yes. So there's many more songs to come.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, guys. Bye. Bye. Have a good
Bye.
day.